Okay.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is September the 2nd, and it's our regular meeting. Just a note I would like to read. Because we've had so many visitors here tonight, I would like to remind everyone of the conduct expectations for observers, guests, and delegations. No one shall use offensive language, profanity, or gestures, nor engage in disruptive behavior during the meeting. Attendees are expected to follow the rules and the procedural bylaw, and any failure to comply may result in removal from the meeting. If removed, individuals may not re-enter without an apology and consent from council. A little bit of housekeeping. Okay. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and our support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Now my mayor's address. Since our last meeting, as of August the 20th, I have attended only one function representing our township, and that was on August 27th. I attended County Council along with our Health and Community Services and Corporate Service Committees. And a reminder to everyone in attendance, there's a lot of people in attendance. So the Renfrew County Municipal Day, which is being held on Wednesday, September 24th, from 3 to 7 at the Renfrew County Building. There's lots of lists or lots of displays, including touch a truck, paint a plow, a mini taste of the Valley experience, and run the radar, and a job fair. And the Sierra team will have a display and much more. That's the business side. Now, after our last meeting and listening to the recording, I recognize that the directives I used came across more firmly than I intended. The message itself was important, but the tone may not have reflected the spirit of collaboration and respect that I strive to maintain in my role as mayor. My goal is always to work constructively with council, staff, and our community. Going forward, I will do my best to ensure that my communications strike the right balance, firm when necessary, but also respectful, open, and solution-focused. We all serve the same community. This is a learning time for all of us, myself included. The province introduced a new leadership framework for mayors without providing a clear playbook. Mistakes will happen, and when they do, I hope.
We can't hear you. Can you turn up the volume?
Mistakes will happen, and when they do, I hope we can see them as opportunities to learn rather than reasons to criticize one another. I promise you patience and understanding, and I ask for the same as we navigate these changes side by side. Earlier this year, I proudly supported Council's resolution opposing Ontario's expanded mayoral authority. At the time, that resolution reflected our collective concerns. I later reached a point where I felt it was best to use the tools the province gave us to help keep township business moving forward in a responsible way. I believe the term strong mayor suggests more than that. It is. I am still just one person accountable to the people, and there are safeguards in place to ensure no one person has unchecked authority. This decision wasn't about rejecting council's position. It was about making sure legislation is upheld and our community's needs stayed front and center. If you know me, not just through hearsay or assumptions, but really know me, you know that I approach every decision cautiously and carefully, always asking what's best for the township. I understand change is difficult. I want you to know that I don't make decisions or bring ideas forward on a whim. As your mayor, I have always taken this responsibility seriously, especially now that the province has given me a stronger role in leading our township. When I bring something to council or share it with you, it's because I've done my homework. I've taken the time to dig into the facts, learn from experts, and really think about how it will affect our community. Every step I take is about doing what's best for the township because I live here too. Disagreements will happen in a democracy, and that's healthy. What matters is that we focus on the issues and not on personal frustrations. Earlier this year, I also suggested that we bring in an independent municipal law expert to explain this new framework and provide residents with clear, accurate information. Council chose a different approach at that time. I will refer to this later in our meeting with a resolution to see if anyone has changed their mind. Even so, I remain committed to creating opportunities for open and fact-based dialogue for residents, council, and staff, so we can all understand how these changes work and what they mean for our community. Under this updated system, council remains at the heart of local decision-making. Let me provide more detail for some of the items I referenced at our last meeting. Councilors represent residents, pass bylaws, approve policies, oversee services, and ultimately decide on all matters not specifically assigned to the mayor. Their role is to set policy, hold leadership accountable, and ensure that the voices of all residents are represented. Staff continue to prepare the township's budget with great care, gathering data, analyzing needs, and building a realistic plan that reflects council's priorities, maintain service levels, and minimize the tax impact. Once the draft budget is ready, it is presented to me for review to ensure alignment with township goals and provincial priorities. And then I present the budget to council. Council members debate it thoroughly, ask questions, and propose changes before approving the final plan that best serves the community. We're moving to a committee of the whole model, which simply means that instead of splitting into several smaller committees, council will now meet as one group to talk about everything that affects the township: planning, roads, finances, community programs, and more. These meetings are designed to give our CAO and staff a clear, open forum to share their updates, ideas, and any challenges they're facing with council. It's a space for council to listen, ask questions, provide direction, and decide what needs to come forward as bylaws or formal decisions. This approach is common in smaller municipalities, making meetings more transparent and accessible for the public. When it comes to bylaws and veto power, the head of council does have the ability to veto a bylaw, but council also has the power to override that veto. In practice, there's no real point in the head of council vetoing something unless they're confident they have enough support from council to back that decision. The CAO now reports directly to the head of council, but council continues to play a key role in shaping policy, finalizing budgets, and holding leadership accountable. I am committed to building a strong and professional partnership with the CAO based on open communication, mutual respect, and trust. Hopefully, we will work closely to share information, align priorities, support staff, and solve problems as a team, while keeping council fully informed and involved in every step of the decision-making process. Council interacts with the CAO as a group during meetings, not individually, which helps keep communications clear and consistent. Council remains the voice of residents, setting direction, ensuring transparency, and representing the priorities of the community. At the end of the day, democracy is what grounds all of this. The province may have given me increased authority, but it doesn't lessen accountability. It invites greater responsibility and collaboration. These new responsibilities are simply tools to help move decisions forward. They don't change the fact that I am here to serve you and that council remains your voice around the table. Together, we can use this moment of change not as a source of division, but as an opportunity to grow stronger as a community. Thank you. And now we'll move. Oh, does anyone have any pecuniary or financial interest to declare? Having seen none, we will move to our delegations. And first, the crowd isn't here to hear your speech. Kristen is the Director of Education for the school board, and she's here to talk to us about the Renature Foundation. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Good evening to everyone here. My name's Kristen Mimi, and I am the proud director of Renfrew County District School Board. Some colleagues and I presented to County Council on August 13th about an exciting project that we're undertaking. And this is a follow-up presentation because we require your support through a resolution, and I will get to that towards the end of the presentation. So we embarked on a consultation last spring for the development of our new strategic plan, which will be approved by our Board of Trustees in December of 2026 and December of 2025 and launched in January of 2026. And through that consultation, overwhelmingly, the consistent feedback has been that we need to continue to prioritize student engagement and well-being. And we have been doing that through a variety of means. For example, through the staffing process in the spring, even though we're having to stretch our dollar further because funding is not keeping up to inflation in education. We've been able to increase, for example, educational assistant staffing consistently over the last 5 years, and we continue to do so, as well as school support counselor support for our students. That's one example of how we are prioritizing student engagement and well-being. We also think we need to think creatively and innovatively. And so we have been looking at how do we build off of the strengths that we have in Renfrew County as a beautiful place in this province, and specifically Renfrew County District School Board. We have many educators who are very, very passionate about outdoor learning and environmental education. And our schoolyards are incredible. Not all school boards have the luxury of having the schoolyards that we do in our schools. And we already have many classes that learn outside. And Killaloe Public School is one of our leaders with environmental education. They have they've signed on to an initiative with Eco Schools Canada. And they have received a platinum certification, which is the highest certification over the last 2 years. Some of you have probably seen that, good news stories. And we're very proud of Killaloe Public School in particular. And we have other schools on our board that have followed their path. Eganville and District Public School is another one. And we have more and more schools that are interested in furthering environmental education. So from our perspective, this project that I'm going to talk to you about this evening, it's going to give them more tools in the toolkit to focus on this aspect of education. So as I've mentioned, we already have a great partnership with Eco Schools Canada, and we also have a wonderful partnership with Shaw Woods. And we send classes from all of our schools to Shaw Woods to learn outside as well. The reality is, as you know, well, you may not know, but busing costs a lot of money, especially the charters that are above the contracts that we have to get students to and from school. So we also want to bring nature to the students, and that's what this project is about. So RCDSB is the only Ontario school board right now to have partnered with the Renature Foundation. And this particular foundation is a Canadian nonprofit, and they basically have one main goal, and that's that every single school in Canada will have a forest and an outdoor learning space in their schoolyard that the students can learn in. And they have 4 guiding principles. So they believe they want to see every class, every school have access to a forest that can provide shade, a classroom that the teachers can teach in that's outside, a mentor for the teachers to learn how to do that, and a curriculum that integrates outdoor education, outdoor learning, and environmental education. So, and all areas, all subjects can be taught outside in addition to inside. So this particular project, what we're looking at doing is designing and installing outdoor learning spaces in the 19 elementary schools that we have primary, junior, so kindergarten, grade 6 students. We have 19 schools in Renfrew County where we own the property. So we're looking at all 19 schools having these spaces installed in our schoolyards. And so I'll get to the specific roles, but essentially we've partnered with the Renature Foundation because they know how to access grants to support this work. So Renfrew County District School Board is going to pay a portion of the cost, but the vast majority of the costs are going to come from grants that we are accessing through Renature with their support. So in your package on page 8, there's a sample design. We're going to be working with a board team that will have educators, on the team, working with them to design a learning space that will support kindergarten to grade 6 students. The size is approximated to be about 75 feet by 75 feet, even though that looks like a rectangle on your paper right now. But that's the approximate size. But what we do is we create one signature look through a design process, and then they adapt it to each schoolyard. And they will work with the school staff to pick that space at each school, and then they'll fit that design to the space. So you can see in the picture, in the middle, that would be like where whole group instruction happens. Top right is sort of like small group instruction. And then there's some other areas where students can explore. And the whole intention here is to advance inquiry-based learning and experiential learning in the outdoors, right on the school property, so that students can get out there every day. We know the research overwhelmingly shows that the more doesn't matter what age we are, if we spend time outside, our well-being improves. And we know that children's mental health, needs some support more than ever. And we need to get students outside and engaging with nature. In addition to that, we know there's research that clearly shows too that when people spend time outside, they connect to nature and then they take more responsibility. And we also know that in these times we need all citizens to take more responsibility for the outdoors as well. So Renature's main role is to support our school board in applying for different types of grants to support this project. They are also going to do the project management with this project. So if we secure the grants that are needed and we move forward with this project, they will take on the project management, okay, from beginning to end. Our role as a school board is one of these grants is through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and that's why I'm here tonight, and I'll get into that in a minute. But it's really to further this work, not just to get the spaces built, but our role as a school board is to support the educators in learning how to use the spaces. Can't just build them and say, go use it. We need to support the teaching of how to teach curriculum outside. So whether it's science or the arts or language, how can we use the outdoors to do that? And also we need to commit to maintaining these spaces. So our facilities department's been involved. Health and safety will be involved. We have a whole team that's ready to support the design and installation of these spaces and then the long-term use and maintenance of them. And then I get to the slide 11, which really is the reason why I'm here. And that's because, as I mentioned, one of the main grants that we're looking to access for this project is through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. It's called the Growing Canada's Community Canopies, GCCC program through FCM. The deadline for the application is February 15th. Sorry, not February. Where'd that come from? It's probably when we're going to hear back. September 15th. And with that application, we have to submit an application for each municipality. There are 13 municipalities that we're working with for these applications. So every municipality needs to provide us with a passed resolution to support us in accessing this grant. So there's no cost to you, the township. And what Renature found out through FCM is that every municipality has access to $10 million over the lifetime of this grant. But here's the catch. It's a 50-50 match program. So whatever you apply for through FCM, you have to be able to match it as a township. And so what's happened is there's this huge grant that's sitting there and unused. There's a lot of money to be used to create naturalized spaces in public spaces, but it's not being accessed because not all the municipalities have the ability to match up to $10 million, right? So that's why they're saying they're interested in partnering, FCM's interested in partnering with Renature and school boards to use some of the unused funds to build these spaces in our schoolyards. So out of the $10 million that your township would have access to, we're asking to access $50,000. So it's a pretty small percentage. And I hope that you will consider this through the resolution that will be brought forward this evening. So the last two slides, really, there's a summary slide that just explains what I just mentioned. I said there's a September 15th deadline that we need to submit our applications by. And if approved, we're looking at design and installing these spaces next summer of 2026. So I know you have a busy night. I appreciate your time in allowing me to come and delegate to you about this topic. And we hope that we can get your support, because that means that Killaloe Public will be one of the schools that will be part of this project. Thank you.
Mike, you need your mic on. Mike, your mic.
This is brand new, so I'm still getting used to it. Does any member of council have any questions? Ted?
Not a question, just a comment. I think this is a great thing, because at this day and age with the kids and their toys and social media and stuff, anything to get them outside, to maybe get their mind into going outside, is a great idea.
Is there, I'm not sure if it's a question or a fact, is there any wood being used in any of the products? Or is it all hard plastic? Okay. All wood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the FCM grant specifically will cover the canopy, the trees, and then other grants and our contributions from the school board will cover the other materials that are there. So for example, in that center part of the design, those are wooden benches, like wooden logs that are sort of milled and prepped for the students to sit on. So it's all wood, no plastic in that design whatsoever.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? We have a resolution.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Harold Levine, whereas the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty and Richards has the following interest: improving our schoolyards by creating outdoor learning spaces and tree canopy environments. Whereas the Renature Foundation is undertaking the Canadian Renature School Program, which will be building outdoor learning spaces and planting trees at the elementary schools in Renfrew County District School Board. Be it resolved that Council for the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty and Richards acknowledges that the Renature Foundation is applying for a funding opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Growing Canada's Community Canopies Initiative for the Canadian Renature School Program, which will be building learning spaces and planting trees at the elementary school in Renfrew County District School Board in partnership with the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty and Richards. Council of the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty and Richards also recognizes that the lifetime contribution from the Growing Canada's Community Canopies Initiative will not exceed 10 million for tree planting within our municipality, inclusive of a maximum contribution of 1 million for infrastructure activity costs, and that if approved, this project will be counted towards that limit.
All those in favor? And that's carried.
So I will email this to you along with the letter of support.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out on first week of school.
Thank you. It's hard to see. Thank you.
And our second delegation tonight, Robbie Anderman. Please.
People can hear me hold it. No, people can't hear me hold it. Right, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, then it's on.
Or is
It's
that?
on now. Yep, it's on. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Tammy said I could fit 2 topics in 15 minutes. Let's see how we do here. And it's what a pleasure and delight to see local democracy happening with so many people turning out with interest in what's happening in these chambers. Dear Mayor and Council and people of Killaloe, Haggerty, Richards. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. I wrote this on Labor Day, this day when we remember how working people joined together into unions to stand up to exploitive employers and forced governments to mandate that industries respect working people with only healthy working conditions and living wages. Today, it is likely that some humans working for a living wage to pay for their family's food, clothing, and shelter are taking on the dangerous job of spraying a known carcinogen, glyphosate, on the Ottawa Valley forests of northern Renfrew County. These forests are considered Crown land. Some folks think that the Crown lands belong to the people of Canada, and there are some who believe the Crown lands belong to the Crown, and that might makes right. At the same time, Crown lands are a big part of treaty negotiations with the Algonquin peoples, and the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan have not given their consent to poison being sprayed on the forest they have claim to. I am of the belief that air, water, earth, and fire have a value beyond their usefulness for human ends. I believe that no one has the right to appropriate them or profit from them at the expense of others. The harms that can result from spraying glyphosate have been proven in many courts of law, enough so that Bayer has paid over $11 billion in damages to humans who've been harmed. There are thousands more cases awaiting their turn in court. Bayer claims glyphosate is safe. Tobacco companies claimed smoking tobacco adulterated with their chemicals was safe. The courts were able to access Monsanto's first early long-term test results, which they tried to hide. These showed cancerous harm compared to later short-term test results. Truth does come out. Does glyphosate come out of forests and streams in a healthy way? How much harm will it do before coming out? Over 80% of all aerial spraying does not land on the targeted species. It lands on soil, wildlife, and waters. Water is life. If our governments do not protect our air, forests, and water, what legitimacy do they have? This is a government system that has not fulfilled the court order to review glyphosate's status in light of new scientific facts. A system that has broken most every treaty, talked truth and reconciliation while harming Wet'suwet'en land defenders and land in favor of industry. Won't relate fully to the fact of so many Indigenous women being murdered or going missing. Goes through the theater of consultation and then ignores what was heard, especially in regards to the nuclear industry and their dump. It appeals the court order to stop the dump simply because an Algonquin tribe legitimately does not consent to it. Yelled, "Look over there, we're under attack from the south," to rationalize breaking all environmental protections and ignore Indigenous lack of consent. Funds genocide in Gaza, and now prefers to fund Bayer, which was a vital part of IG Farben during World War II as they employed slave labor to earn massive profits, rather than doing the research to learn the alternative ways to manage forests that are being used for over 20 years in Quebec. This government system is clearly not about protecting people, wildlife, the environment, or our little children. Are we surprised? Who is standing on guard for Canada? Mothers with little children and those who love Earth more than money. Are the mayor and council of KHR standing on guard for the people, wildlife, forests, water, and little children of this municipality and Renfrew County? Are you willing to bring my and your voice to Renfrew County Council, the province of Ontario, and the government of Canada to ban the use of glyphosate products on the forest lands of this region? Will you please craft a proposal to carry this message to those who can actually stop the spraying program into the future? This is not about shutting down forestry. It's about asking the province of Ontario and companies managing our crown lands to move forward with safer, science-backed methods that respect both workers and the environment. Our forests are more than plantations. They are ecosystems, watersheds, and homes to countless species. Protecting them means protecting all of us. There is no planet B. May peace and goodness prevail. And I've given copies to the council, the Tammy of Quebec's No Spray Forest Management Program, which they've been using for over 20 years, and all the companies that are operating in the forest there with all their websites and what they're doing. And also a copy of their sustainable forest management strategy, which is available, which I can send to anybody and pass further. To my second topic. Mayor Mayville, councilors, people of Killaloe, Haggerty, Richards. As I entered this council chamber, I looked immediately to my left and saw hanging there a portrait of Alex Schulis, former reeve of Haggerty Richards for 27 years. He was reeve when I moved to this area over 55 years ago. He set a high bar for future councils in the way he represented and listened to the people. He also set a strong example by his way of responding to being mandated by the province of Ontario to set up zoning that only allowed one dwelling per deed. Reeve Schulis knew that many farmers around here wanted to pass along their land to their young ones and have them take over the farm while building a small cabin for themselves on the same farm. So Reeve Schulis refused the mandate. He was then told that he and we would not be receiving certain grants from the government. He knew from experience that certain provincial monies came with strings, puppet strings, and he refused the grants and kept Haggerty and Richards free of this provincial meddling and interference in the lands and lives of the people of our township. In my observation and experience, municipal governance functions best through a collaborative decision-making process where elected councils, representing the collective voice of their communities, work alongside experienced municipal staff. Municipal government for me has always been the one level of government where the people can relate directly with the council and help create positive change for everyone involved. KHR and Renfrew County are unique in Ontario. We have a long-standing relationship with Queen's Park, whereby we want as little interference in our way of life as possible, such as we did with the official plan a few years ago. Just because Premier Ford says this is something we must do, we don't have to. Thus, I was quite baffled to learn, Mayor Mayville, after publicly voting in early May of this year to not accept the strong mayor powers that Premier Ford offered, you turned around unilaterally decided that you would take these powers upon yourself and upon the people of Killaloe Haggerty Richards, without consultation with this council or the voters, like with a public referendum. From all I was taught and researched, this is not the way a democracy works. While it may look like the potential for a benevolent dictatorship might work for a brief period of time, history has shown that once power is grabbed, it is very rarely relinquished. By grabbing these powers, you have set the precedent for the people of this municipality for the long-term future. It is a step that the people here did not vote for. I have noticed that about 150 Ontario municipalities that were offered strong mayor powers have outright refused to accept that provincial mandate, including some longtime mayors of Renfrew County. There is no evidence to suggest that strong mayor powers have increased housing starts, contrary to the provincial government's stated justification for their implementation. The Association of Municipal Managers, Clerks, and Treasurers of Ontario, AMCTO, has raised concerns that strong mayor powers blur the lines between political leadership and administrative expertise, threatening the neutrality of municipal public service. Democratic principles require that municipal governments remain a system of one person, one vote for everyone on this council who represent the people of this municipality, rather than granting disproportionate power to a single individual. I ask that you please reconsider your decision and work tirelessly to learn how a council and mayor can constructively communicate in a positive way together, even if it takes bringing in outside help, or at least through conversation with other mayors in Renfrew County. In these challenging times, democracy is under attack. We need our local government to truly represent us and stand up for true democracy. Thank you for listening.
Does council have any questions? Bill?
I'm on. Thanks for that, Robbie. My first comment, I have two comments. One, I guess, is regarding your first topic in the glyphosate. What can we do practically? Like, what can this council do? Is there a next step that we can take? I mean, I strongly support not spraying that poison on our forests. So what can I do? What can we do around the table?
Well, the main crux seems to be that Health Canada, which the National Farmers Union, which I've been a member and local board member of for 20 some years, has identified that Health Canada is totally corrupt to the core and has been carrying out working, they've even said publicly or to a worker who documented it, that they're, even though they're mandated by government law to look after the welfare and health of Canadian people, they actually said that actually their client is industry. And that is on record. And so what we have is they were mandated in 2022 to review glyphosate as an ingredient to be used in Canada completely. And 2 years ago, a federal court said, you haven't fulfilled your mandate, you haven't reviewed it due to new scientific facts. And so we're running, and so the Ontario government is now saying, oh, it's okay to use because Health Canada says it's okay to use. And they're not looking at what the effects would be on the waters, on the people, on all the wildlife, on everything. And the farms and all the grasses. And it's, you know, it's the
I get it. So what can we do?
what can you do is to lobby through county council to speak to how our Renfrew County forests are looked at. You can speak to our member of provincial parliament about this, asking Ontario to rescind its use of glyphosate, and we can work through our member of parliament to ask her to represent us, and she's already has secured some time to speak to this in parliament so far. I think she has 25 minutes to speak to this in the coming days, to support her in asking everybody to actually look after the welfare and well-being of the land, the people, the waters, and the future of Canada as a whole.
Thank you. And then I have a question related to your second topic. And I just want to say thank you for that. And I was heartened to hear the mayor's address earlier today. That sounds like he might be rethinking his approach.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if the mayor is ready to, so many of the things that were contained in your original address 2 weeks ago are things that are clearly allowed to be delegated to staff and or council as a whole. And I'm wondering if, in light of your recent speech today, whether you will be making those delegations of authority.
Want to know? I think the reason that I made that speech tonight is there is reconsideration. And as far as the delegation of authority, that's going to play a big role. And when our CAO and myself sit down and discuss things, that's when more delegation will happen. I want to get a feel of where she's going, where I'm going, and we'll go from there.
So no, things that can be delegated to council. I'm sorry. Do you want me to I can repeat that. So your answer to my question is no, you're not going to delegate at this time the authorities to council that are allowed to be.
There will be delegation once I sit with the CAO and we discuss everything.
I'd also like to say I appreciated what you did offer at the beginning of the evening. Thank you.
So just to be clear, so you're a representative at county council. Have you brought up this spraying stuff? Yet? Is there any intention of bringing up on behalf of KHR?
That's a very good question. And yes, the last meeting, and I had probably 15 emails that came to me, and I brought them forward to county council. And yes, Robbie, it was a generic email back to everybody. What I did discover is that the MNR is spraying through plane, and the county employees are spraying with a backpack, which is a controlled way to spray as opposed to an airdrop. Having said that, it was discussed at that meeting, and now it's going to be brought up again on Wednesday when we have next Wednesday, when we have our next county council meeting. It'll be brought up again.
Did you vote for it or against it, or?
There was no vote. I brought forward the email. Pardon?
State and
Well, I provided the emails. And if we do a resolution tonight, forwarding it, we'll have full support, I'm assuming, but that'll come. Thank you.
So my question is, has the spraying not already started? Has it started? Yes. So are we too late to pass a resolution, or would it still count
Well,
going forward? For the future.
I don't think we're ever too late to do this, Robbie. You know, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think if we can do it, let's do it. And at least put our foot in the,
Yeah, so there was a resolution that was provided by another municipality, I believe, at our last meeting. Was there not? I'm pretty sure there was, so maybe we could take that and bring it to our next meeting. People are comfortable with that. I'm
Or-
pretty sure it was in our last package. I didn't know enough about it. I wanted to take time, and then I realized it already started spraying. I thought there was a bit of a window of time between that to learn more, but
They started on Labor Day.
yeah, I know I saw that.
would council want to do our own policy or resolution as opposed to we can take some of the bits and pieces from the previous one, but make our own up? Instead of,
So you bring back the other four, which saves and doing a lot of work. Oh. Well, like, my name is Brock. Sit on, so. I'd say bring back the other resolution would save Tammy a lot of time and work involved in it when we already have one, which we can agree to.
okay, if that is the consensus, then let's do that. But if that resolution can't be found, I'm not sure, you can check Tammy, but if it's not there, we'll give Tammy the authority to make up another resolution for our next meeting then. Right. How's that? Robbie? Okay with that?
Sounds good.
And then-
And
And we'll do,
that resolution went beyond just county council.
the resolution will go, I think how Tammy does it, when we sign off on a resolution, it goes to county council plus provincial government plus. She has a massive list.
Good.
Okay.
I'll take her call.
All right.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for coming up tonight.
And minutes of our previous meetings.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Harold Levine. Motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 20th, 2025, open and closed sessions. Understanding closed minutes remain confidential.
Discussion, questions? All those in favor? Carried.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Ted Brown. Motion to approve the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meetings of August the 27th, 2025 at 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. open sessions.
Questions, discussion? All those in favor? Carried. We move on to meetings. Does anyone have anything they want to add? Okay. Reports, Dean.
Okay, so to start off, regular meeting, I will think ended.
Carl?
No.
Regular maintenance, road continues. We've installed several culverts, throughout the municipality, ditching as well. Manhole covers will be, replaced sometime this fall. We have working at heights training September 30th. October 9th will be our surface mining common core training in, Palmer Rapids. Our summer students are, done now. I just want to say thanks to all three of them. We had, 2 for Public Works and 1 for Waste Management. I just wanted to say thanks to them. They did a great job this summer, cutting grass and opening the gates of the park and stuff like that, and doing garbage pickup throughout the municipality. The part-time casual employee for the winter, he's not returning this year. I would just want to know if council would be okay with me putting something out in the paper, or see if I could find somebody that'd be a part-time casual for the winter time like we have in the past. I just want direction on that.
Can we do we need a resolution to that? Do that.
Yes, it is council's decision.
All those in favor of him getting something together in the newspaper?
Okay, so just there's just 2 other things there for waste management report. The RFP was sent out for our C&D bulky waste. We had a few people come in on it, but we still haven't opened them up or nothing yet. So we do have some interest in that, so which is good. When we can, we're moving needles and shingles to the Red Rock site when we can, in between if there's rain showers and stuff like that. So whenever we can, we'll be moving some of that stuff as well. And that's it for my report.
Any questions for Dean from council? We're good. Thank you. And Tammy.
Okay, so the only thing that I have for open, I do have a couple of matters for closed, but I did provide council with a report from Kimberly Schroeder, the planning and building assistant. And she has asked that council receive this report as information. She's indicated that as it relates to the Round Lake boat launch, staff have been diligently investigating this matter, and it has been determined that the grates initially purchased for the Round Lake boat launch are unsuitable for the intended purpose that they were purchased for. The township has been informed that these grates are not designed to withstand vehicle traffic, and laying them directly on the lake bed does not provide adequate stability, as there is no mechanism to prevent the shifting. These grates are intended to be part of the supporting structure and are better suited for uses in walkways or stairs rather than for vehicle ramps. JP2G Consulting has completed a study for the Round Lake boat launch ramp. Drone mapping has been finalized, and the consultants have contacted Public Works Dean Hawley to discuss the possibility of extending the concrete ramp sections to the end of the dock. Public Works Superintendent Hawley has confirmed that this extension is a viable option, especially in light of the recent issues with the grate system. JP2G has provided a preliminary design drawing outlining the repair of the existing concrete ramp and the proposed extension. The drawing specifies the number of required sections and their dimensions, which I have shared she has shared with various businesses specializing in these types of installations to obtain approximate cost estimates. So far, she has received the cost ranges from anywhere from $26,000 to $43,000. Additionally, JP2G is in discussions with M&R on behalf of the township to address timelines and permit requirements. And she has indicated that she will provide council with an in-depth report at a later date as she continues to work on this matter.
Does council have any questions that they want to forward through Tammy to Kim?
So after reading this, so it looks like we won't have anything in place this fall.
I'm not going to say no. Again, like I said, JP2G is working with M&R on it, and there may still be a window of opportunity to be able to get this done.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Next. You two, that's it. Okay, is there any committee? Now we'll move to correspondence. Colin's report as far as the business impact study. Any questions? County of Renfrew. For your information. EOWC, again, for your information. Municipality of Tweed, incineration resolution.
This one. This one? Was it good?
Oh, yeah. Invitation to elected officials, the agricultural tour. Would anybody be interested?
Is anyone planning on going to that?
It's on September the 12th.
I'm not sure if the schedule will allow.
I'd vote somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll let you know, Emmy.
Well, you guys are going out. It does look interesting.
Mr.
Mayor, if I may, I apologize for you. Counselors, if you could please turn your microphones on, otherwise we don't have recording for our reporting.
Oh, I forgot to stop.
Neither of these three had them on when they were just speaking. So that will be silent on the video.
I would go, Bill, if you were going. Well, he wants us to repeat it, so.
My understanding, Mr. Fisher, is that your recent article said you had your own recordings of the meeting.
As a backup.
Okay.
Nope.
Municipality of Tweed, incineration resolution. Upper Ottawa Valley Chamber of Commerce, the Business Excellent Awards Gala. This came to us last year. I don't know if anyone remembers this. It was a funding request from the Renfrew County Regional Science and Technology Fair. I know for sure we did not donate to this. Is there any consideration this time around?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a worthwhile thing. I mean, obviously, we can't go at a primary sponsor level, but issuing a special award sponsorship or something less than that. In keeping with other donations that we give to places, I don't know, $250 or $500 or something like that.
Did
Right.
we do this last week?
We did not.
And was there any money in the budget for something like this?
Yes, we do.
You do have?
So Bill has put something on the floor as far as making a donation of $250. Would anyone second that, or is there any agreement? Okay, seconded by Ted. All those in favor? Good. I think it's a great thing for the kids, for youth. So it's 250. Minister for Seniors and Accessibility, 2025 Senior Achievement Award. So basically, think if you know of anyone that you'd like to nominate, that type of thing. Okay. I think we have until nominations deadline is October 1st. Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, the newsletter, for your information. Cheryl Gallant gave us a thank you. This was an email I received from a Karen Nelson, and does anyone from council would like to discuss this?
I know it's come to council before, but I've been listening to, and council didn't support it, but I've been listening to reports in the news. It was about a week or 2 weeks ago, talking about a number of municipalities who have instituted these kinds of fees or regulations. I know that we didn't do it. When we were looking around, there wasn't many examples out there, but I'd like to know what their experience is, if there's a way that, if it's far enough down the implementation to know that we can find out how it went for them, what the problems are.
Anybody else have a comment? Ted?
Yeah, I think we could probably look into it again, but I just want to remind council too, that part of the reason we didn't go ahead with it was because of the policing aspect of it, that it would be very difficult with our staff to be able to police that kind of a thing, so. But it wouldn't hurt to look and see what other townships have made progress with.
I think that's a great suggestion, and we can forward that.
Just like to add too, I think, and the cost too, Ted, I think that was part of our reason for not going further with it the last time. So we should get some figures on cost.
Okay. Thank you. Letter from Mike Krawchuk for information. Oh, okay.
I would like to speak to this because I'm not trying to be rude to Mike or anything, but Mike is not a taxpayer in our township. So I don't think we should be bringing letters to council that people do not pay taxes here for their opinion, because I really don't care what his opinion is. I don't know if we need to come up with a policy or how we can figure that out.
Okay, noted.
I have the same thing.
What do you think about that, Mr. Mayor? Do you agree with that, or?
We could, that could be in our communication policy if we ever get together again. Sure, that would be a good one to talk about.
I don't agree with you there. I don't see what that has to do with communications. This is an email that was sent to you that you brought forward because he's supporting you. And he's not a taxpayer here, so we don't need that in our meetings, period.
Good, okay. Next one. Letter from Ian Huggett.
Sorry, that was an email that was addressed to me, and I'd like council to know that I did reply to Mr. Huggett. I've had several chats with him about these issues. Well, I've had several chats with him about a lot of issues, but I just wanted people to know that I did respond to this email. I just didn't reply all.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to this email. So Ian is asking us why we didn't want to bring in a third party to explain the strong mayor powers. And the reason we didn't were because there were free offerings from the minister's office for counselors. And this one cost our township I think it was $2,000, if I remember. So we just didn't want to spend that kind of money. And we also, after the resolution was passed, didn't have an expectation that this was going to be something we would have to actively be worrying about. So we thought we had a window of time. And that's why we didn't take that training. So I just want the public to know that.
The next one is from Eorn, a monthly update. Next one is from the County of Renfrew, Council and Committee. Monthly summary. Next one is from the City of Brantford in regards to advocacy for provincial scrap metal. Next one is from Steve and Kim Grayfell, Strong Mayor Powers.
I know in here that they requested the email be read at next council meeting. Is that something that we can do or not?
I think everyone has received this email. We can read it if you like. That's the wish. This letter has also been sent to all KHR counselors and the CEO. We read your letter about you using your strong mayor powers and were quite shocked after we saw the vote that you and the counselors had to not choose to use the strong mayor powers. It is very disheartening as a taxpayer of this community that you went against your own vote and that of the counselors. These powers will only undermine the harmonious governance of council-led decision making that has done well in the past. One person with enhanced authority having the power to veto council decisions or proposed bylaws only erodes the democratic process and the trust between residents and their municipality. Here is one example of how this change could undermine the trust in the members and residents. If a resident wants to write letters such as this one to the CEO to have their voice heard about the concerns of these strong mayor powers, the CEO could feel at risk of their position because the mayor could use his or her strong mayor powers to have the CEO removed by submitting that letter, as it would not be in favor of the mayor. The CEO could decide that letter sent to the municipality could threaten his or her job, so it should not be read at council. The residents would now change, knowing this could put the CAO in an awkward position. The only consolation we have that will uphold the democratic process now will be the election in 2026, after the community watches how these powers are used over the next year. This email is being sent as we cannot make the next council meeting in person as we have other commitments, and ask this read at the next meeting and go on record. Respectfully, Stephen Kim, Grayville. Okay.
Thank you.
And the next one is from Angeline Roach. And the next one is from Community Development Coordinator on his summary from the visitors booth. Any comments from anyone?
Yeah, just by reading this, just so the public knows, it looks like the visitor center was very well used this summer, and so that's good news.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I realized that I advocated for us to read the last letter because it stated it in the letter, but someone sitting beside me wrote the next letter and we didn't read it out. So I feel obligated to say, can we read that letter out as well?
Sure. Mr. Mayor, I am truly disappointed that you feel you had no choice but to enact the strong mayor powers and the method in which you informed council and taxpayers of your decision. When you ran for mayor, you had stated to me in person that you are an administrator and will let people do their jobs. Clearly by invoking the strong mayor powers, you no longer stand by the statement, as you are now leading and controlling. You always have a choice in how power is utilized. Unfortunately, you have decided to take the road of authoritarism. In making this choice, you have now eliminated any benefit of the doubt. I and many taxpayers were willing to give you as a rookie and inexperienced politician. You have now alienated yourself from council and any supporters you did have. This is not how effective teams work together. I also have issue with your statement presented to council on August 20th, 2025, where you instructed council and the CEO of a hiring freeze, and specifically the hiring of a new CBO. As you want to review the human resources manual and the job description currently in use, as concerns have been identified that you want addressed and discussed with legal counsel before further hiring decisions can proceed. According to the Ontario legislation regarding strong mayor powers, as head of council, the hiring of the CBO is excluded from these powers. Therefore, please explain why you felt you had the right to put the hiring of the CBO position on hold. In conclusion, I hope you will realize that you have isolated yourself and made KHR Council ineffective and undemocratic, and therefore retract this poorly made decision on how to utilize the strong mayor powers. Sincerely, Angeline Roach.
Thank you.
Is there any unfinished business? Whoa, okay. Ted, you had your hand up first.
Okay, so I'm going to bring some stuff up here. I have some questions about your last speech last week where you took on the strong mayor powers, and a few points just so the public knows more maybe than you were telling them. I just want it to be clear to the public that you keep saying it's legislated and mandated. But at the end of the day, it was still you that enacted those powers, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Just a couple things reading in the paper, sort of a question for you, I guess. You said just because you do it doesn't mean you agree with it. Is that how you do business most of the time? Like you don't agree with it, but you're going to do it?
I think the question that was asked at that time that was my answer at that time.
And the question was about the strong mayor powers. So you don't agree with it, but you feel that you have to do it. Okay, just wanted it out there. Another thing, you went to a committee of the whole and got rid of all the committees, and you told taxpayers that this is going to save money. Pardon me?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you done any looking into that? And the reason I asked is we're 3 years into a term and I've had one committee meeting. I know there's other committees that maybe one. So at the end of the day, we're going to be having 12 a year at, I don't know, $2,000 a meeting. But to me, that seems like a lot of money that taxpayers are going to be paying.
So your question is, where's the equalization of the?
Yep.
Well, take, for example, finance committee meetings. We had, I think, 8.
Which you called?
Whatever. We had
Yeah.
8 finance meetings.
Whatever, that's right.
Okay. So you really don't want to hear my answer. Okay.
Yeah, no. Give me your answer. I just want to, and maybe Tommy can help me out on this one because I'm not 100% sure on it, but you repeated a couple times how you saved the taxpayers of KHR $86,000 on the water bills. So where did that money come from? Well, where did you say it come from? You said you found it. So where did you
between the
find it?
revenue and expenses? And Tammy made 2 adjusting entries, one from special area reserve and what was the other reserve?
The 86,000 came from the special area rate reserve.
And the river power.
Ottawa River
There were
Power.
2 reserves that she took the money out to balance.
So in other words, we just moved money around. Am I correct?
Correct. So we
So we didn't save anybody any money. No.
we use the reserve, the special area rate reserve that we offset. So the reserve that we put the money, the 86,000 that we put into reserves this year was used all towards to cash flow of the water and wastewater till the end of the year.
Did that 86,000 come from you, Mr. Mayor, or from the taxpayers?
I was part of it. You were too.
That's right. So it came from the taxpayers. So you didn't really save any money from them.
Well, yes, we
You
did.
spent it on a different line.
No.
And to my next point,
So if this came out of the area rate reserves, the taxpayers of Killaloe paid for it, not the township.
Correct.
Correct. That's out of our area rate that we pay. I pay $1,000 a year for. Thank you.
and my last thing is I have thanks to AI or whatever it is. I have prepared a resolution that I would like read at this time.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Brian Pekoski, whereas the Ontario provincial government has recently implemented strong mayor powers under the Strong Mayors Building Act 2022, Bill 3, which grants mayors in select municipalities enhanced decision-making authority. Whereas they are growing concerns among the residents of the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards, local stakeholders, and members of the municipal council regarding the lack of transparency and consultation in the implementation of these powers. Whereas Mayor Dave Mayville has misrepresented key aspects of the strong mayor powers to the public, failing to provide accurate, complete, and clear information about the scope, intent, and potential consequences of these powers on local governance. Whereas Mayor Dave Mayville has downplayed the significant impact that these powers could have on the democratic process and municipal autonomy, thereby creating confusion and mistrust within the community. Now therefore be it resolved that this council expresses its lack of confidence in Mayor Dave Mayville due to his mishandling of the Strong Mayor Powers Initiative and his failure to provide honest and transparent communication to the public regarding this significant change to municipal governance. Further resolved that this council calls for the immediate resignation of Dave Mayville.
Be a man, be honorable, and step down so that people can represent themselves without you. Not everybody feels that way.
Can we get a recorded vote on that, Tammy?
People know that the air conditioning actually broke today and stuff. That's why it's this up.
Okay, I don't have to read the resolution again. Councillor Pekoski is added, called for a recorded vote, so he will go first. Councillor Pekoski, you're going to vote either yes or no for the mayor's resignation. So you go first, Councillor Pekoski.
Yes.
Councillor Brown,
Yes.
Councillor Keel,
Yes.
Councillor Levine,
Yes.
Councillor McMillan,
Yes.
Mayor Mayville,
No.
Councillor Smith.
Yes.
So the resolution has been carried. But it is up to Mayor Mayville whether or not he wants to resign.
I will not be resigned.
I believe you should really go home and sleep on this and think about it. Because obviously you have more people that don't want you here than do want you here.
Might change his mind by the next meeting anyway.
No, I think there was other people had questions on unfinished business.
I have a I have an item. So my unfinished business has to do with the broad grant that we brought up at the last meeting. So I sat down with Colton and we talked about the signs that needed to be redone that we would be applying for. So there are 3 signs for Round Lake, 3 signs for KHR, 1 in Wilno, which we would, if we got the grant, we would work with Madawaska Valley to make sure that it's suitable on both ends, and 3 to 4 waymaking or wayfaring signs. He wants to apply for $15,000 and we would be on the hook for 7,500 if we were to get the grant. We don't know that we'd spend that much, but we thought we'd rather be generous than not. So he just needs the go ahead to be able to submit this grant if council is on board with that. Thank you. $50.
Other unfinished business. Any new business? Anyone that would be going to the committee?
That's right. You get off early for good behavior.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Brian Pekoski. Motion to move into committee of the whole. Be it resolved that council move into a closed meeting pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before the administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, a request under the Municipal Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act if a council, board, commission, or other body is the head of an institution for the purposes of this act.
All those in favor? Carried.